What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and the first thing I want to do is I just want to apologize for yesterday for not posting up a video. Unfortunately, for those of you that read the post that I put up, my computer ended up crashing, so I had to take it to the shop, get it worked on, and now it seems to be running smooth as ever. So hopefully we won't have that problem for a long time, or maybe I'll just end up buying another computer in the future. But today we're going to show off Spider-Man a little bit, right? And then the thing about Spider-Man, especially in PvP, guys, is, he is godly, right? He's godly in PvP and PvE, which, by the way, we will show a PvE run, stage 49 against Null, just how insane he is. And I do have the same build that I've always had. I still got the brilliant CTP of destruction. And, is this the optimal obelisk for PvP? I don't think so. It's a good obelisk. It gives an immunity guard break. But the thing is, guys, you face a lot of characters like Doom and Sentry, and these characters have super guard break. It doesn't matter if you have immunity to guard break or not, they still can guard break you. So it's one of those things where, but I do think having immunity guard break on a character is important for PvP. You absolutely want to have it because there's going to be a lot of situations where it is useful. It's just against certain characters, especially like Sentry with his, 4 skills that have guard break immunity or super guard break. It's just nuts, right, guys? But the build's exactly the same. Now, I could improve his build and put some HP Urus on him. I do have some empty slots, but I actually might end up putting some attack Urus. I'm really more about PvE than I am PvP, and he actually does really well with the CTP of destruction. Not as good as what you'd like. Now, the thing about PvP is we have quite the variety now of teams that we can actually set up against other teams. If you got like this team right here, I got 3 teams set up here. We got Spider-Man, Hela for the decrease and increased damage to superheroes, and then Colossus for the decreased damage received, right? This is going to make Spider-Man really tanky against heroes, right? But against villains, he's just going to get the decreased damage received. He's not going to get any buff from the energy attack here, but the increased damage to superheroes is really nice from Hela's uniform effect. That thing is sweet. That is crazy, man. Increased damage by 50%, decreased damage by 30%. That is nuts. That really makes him a lot better against heroes. And then you have this one here, which is, I'm using White Fox for the increased damage to super villains. So it's kind of a mixed blend. He won't be as tanky because you wouldn't have Colossus. But if you have White Fox, you're going to increase your damage to super villains. And the thing is, Spider-Man is so strong. I mean, this is a really good team. But is it the best team? I mean, it's going to depend on the teams that you're actually fighting against. That's the thing. I mean, we have so much variety now in PvP, so much versatility in our teams that, one team is going to be better against certain other teams. And then we have this team right here. Now, this is a really good team because, we have characters like Shang-Chi and Wolverine in PvP. And Spider-Man can get clapped by Shang-Chi, especially against his 3rd skill very easily because Shang-Chi has a reflect and he has the ignore iframe on that damn thing. But Emma there is actually very good because she actually has the type advantage against Shang-Chi. She can actually clap him. But the thing is, I'm using Hela's leadership. Now, Hela's leadership would benefit Emma, and it's also going to give her increased damage to superheroes. But if you're facing just a bunch of super villains, it might not be as good a team because you're not going to have the tankiness because you're not going to have Colossus on the team. Remember, Spider-Man can actually negate the decreased damage received that characters have, right, from his uniform effect, which makes him really godly, especially against, characters like Emma Frost, who have a decreased damage received by 85% on her 3rd skill, or whenever people use Colossus on the team. Whenever they put Colossus on their team, if Spider-Man's facing them, he's just ignoring Colossus's passive. So I'll show you guys a little bit of what he can do in PvP. This is a team that's actually just going to make him super tanky and really just kind of focus more on Spider-Man. Now, I could use, Wasp, get a debuff, but Spider-Man already has a debuff on his 4th skill, and we'll go against this team right here. Now, the composition that I have right now, he's really tanky, right? He's going to have the decreased damage received from Colossus. He's going to have the decreased damage received from superheroes from Hela's uniform effect, which should make him extremely good against Sentry, right? He should be very tanky against him and take a lot of his attacks. Now, this is a #1 team Sentry, right? And he clapped us, right? Now, in the testing that I've done, Spider-Man can beat him sometimes. Now, we got to go all the way out, which sucks. Okay, we got to go back in. This is the pain in the ass about doing these videos, so we'll try it again. because I have beat this team with the team that I'm using. But just like always, when it comes to PvP, it really depends on, you know, how long my first character can last. That way my characters can come in afterwards, has their skills ready. And if Spider-Man has his skills ready, he can get in there and he can clap Sentry like there, right? He just clapped his butt. Now all of his skills are ready to go. He'll use his forward, use that ignore iframe, right? It's really when Spider-Man does that fifth skill and the fourth skill combinations where he's deadly. I mean, he will murder, but Sentry went into an iframe right there, but we still clapped him, right? So, I mean, this is always the thing with PvP, right? You just sometimes, you know, your team might lose, sometimes they might win. It really just depends on the RNG factor of what skills they actually prioritize. And as you guys saw, Spider-Man clapped the #1 team, which is pretty insane, guys. That's pretty insane. So let me set up another team here. So here's a team that has an increased damage to supervillains. Honestly, I think this team's actually better because you always have the decreased damage received. Now remember, when you're facing another Spider-Man, or when you're facing a team with Molecule Man in the leadership, Colossus's passive is going to be negated, right? It's going to be negated. But I'll show you what this team does here against in timeline here. Let's see. We want to find, no, we don't want to do that. That's another Spider-Man. That's not good. So here's a team with Shang-Chi and Sentry, right? Well, wait, there's no supervillains on that team, so that's not going to really work. No supervillains. Let me see if I can find a team with supervillains on it. No. Let me see here. Does anyone run supervillains on their team? Seriously. We just have nothing but heroes? I know I had some Dooms earlier. If I can find one. But the team that I'm using right now would be more beneficial against a team with supervillains. And unfortunately, guys, it looks like everybody's just running hero. So it's not going to be really that beneficial to use this team. But we can use this team right here. So let me see if I can find a team with Shang-Chi and see how that performs. Here we go. So here's a team with all heroes and Shang-Chi, right? So let's see how this goes. Now remember, Shang-Chi really is deadly to Spider-Man, man. Having that type advantage is vicious. And plus Shang-Chi's third skill is just so insane. Honestly, it's amazing that my tier 2 Hela can survive that long. That is crazy. Wow. Wow. Now, we don't have our decreased damage received from Colossus, so our Spider-Man isn't going to be as tanky as what he was in the first run that I showed you guys. But his damage is good enough already, right? That's kind of the thing about Spider-Man. His damage is so good that he can murder. And there you just saw Shang-Chi clapped him, right? So we got Emma in there to clap Shang-Chi. See? So if you're facing a team with all heroes and you got Shang-Chi that you're going against on the team, it might be a good idea to have someone like Emma on the team if you have her available. I mean, she is very, very good against him. She's pretty much a hard counter against that character. So let me see here. No, we don't want to face another Spider-Man. Okay, so here's a team, ranked #6 with super villains. All right, so let me switch my team around again and try this one right here. That was a ranked #5 team. Here we go. Now, I do think that just making Spider-Man tankier all by himself is really better than just adding more damage to supervillains from White Fox. But we'll see how this plays out. I tested it earlier, and I do think that making him tankier is probably a better idea. I mean, if you're not facing another Spider-Man, having those extra passives like from Colossus really is a big, big benefit. I can't believe Hela is surviving this long. This is crazy. Wow. So here's Doom. He's going to murder her. Yeah. Fifth skill, it's over. Spider-Man going to the 4. Got the ignore iframe. And this is a Doom with a reforged CTP. With the 4. And having that extra damage to supervillains from White Fox is really, really beneficial against someone like Doom, right? You're going to have that extra, well, in my case, 65% extra damage to supervillains, right? So Spider-Man can clap supervillains a lot faster with this kind of team. I mean, depending on who you face in timeline, really will depend on the best team that you want to use against them, especially if you're putting a character like Spider-Man or really even other characters on your team. I mean, you could even put Wasp instead of Hela in the leadership, but again, you're going to get the extra 10% HP. You're going to get the debuff, but Spider-Man doesn't need a debuff. He's already got the Force skill with the debuff. But if you're using Spider-Man with another character like Emma, who doesn't have a debuff, maybe it would be better to have Wasp in the leadership. There's so many team compositions that you can actually use, but Spider-Man really is a god. You know, having the CTP of Destruction on him, I think, is a really good idea because you really get the better of both worlds. He's so good in PvE and PvP that I prefer just to have a nice hybrid build for him. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to show you a run against stage 49 Null. And let me tell you guys, he can go even higher with the current build that I have. Right now, I am using the black uniform because it has a lot more damage than the red uniform, especially in this high level. And, you know, with Spider-Man, you know, there's a couple things to remember when you play with him. A little trick for you guys to know so you can always get that 1.2% accumulation is whenever you hit the third skill and he backs away, wait till it hits the 5, and then once it hits 5 seconds on that third skill, just wait a brief moment and you'll be able to get your 1.2% pretty much every time. Watch what I do. It hits the 5 and I waited there. I think I actually only got 0.8%. I need to wait a little bit longer. I mean, you really got to push it to the brink of the end before he jumps up and does his attacks on his third skill, so you can get that 1.2% accumulation. And he will do a lot better if you're always trying to get that 1.2%. Another little tidbit is before you use your tier 3, so right here, I did it already once, but I'll show it again here. Whenever you use the co-op, Spider-Man does this Force skill. So if you involve the co-op with the tier 3, you will do a lot more damage. It makes a huge difference. Look at all the bars that he just took off in this high level, right? So I'll hit the third skill. I'll wait almost that 2 seconds. I'll let it go. Then I'll hit the 4. Then I'll hit the co-op, tier 3, 5. So remember, it's 3, delay, 4, co-op, tier 3, 5. And he will murder. Another thing to remember is, if you notice, guys, throughout this run, anytime that I see tornadoes, I will avoid them. Now, if you have your tier 3 ready, the tornadoes aren't a big deal, but if you're trying to use your third skill and you're trying to get the 1.2% accumulation, you want to stay away from those tornadoes because they will interrupt your skills. Spider-Man does not have super armor. He will get interrupted. The tier 3 has invincibility, which gives you super armor, but you still have to delay that 3. And if the tornadoes are out and you try to delay that 3 and they hit you, they're going to completely interrupt you and you're going to lose an insane amount of damage. So it's always best when you see those things pop up and you're playing with Spider-Man, just to kind of run away from them and get away. Let them kind of get away from Null or the opponent you're facing, and then go into your skills so you don't have to worry about getting interrupted. And you will do a lot more damage that way. This run took me 1 try, guys. I mean, I've really played with Spider-Man a crap ton, loving the hell out of him. Honestly, like this rework, or I don't even really want to call it a rework because he ended up getting a uniform, but it's just godly for him. And there you guys saw that I had tornadoes a second ago. I just hit the 3 and canceled immediately into the 4 or 5 because I knew I'd get interrupted, right? So I didn't do near as much accumulation, but I was just trying to get my tier 3 up so I could do all the damage that you just saw, right? And, you know, always in these high levels, you really got to switch your characters as much as possible. So that way they don't get one-shotted, like what's going to happen to Wave here in a second. She's going to pretty much get popped. If I would have just kept running away, I would have been all right instead of sitting still for a moment there, but not a big deal. I don't really need her. Tried to do a little bit of damage there. And I've always loved how they made his fifth skill movable, where you can actually get out of damage. That is nice. And luckily, he's got a lot of native dodge, too. Oh, yeah. And I'm just trying to squeeze in as much damage as I can. I mean, guys, look at the time that he's doing this in, right? I know he's got a brilliant CTP of Destruction, but honestly, it's just godly how strong he is, man. He's so good and so easy to play with the insane survivability with his heals and his passive heal. I mean, Spider-Man, I mean, he's just, I mean, you guys have heard it over and over from all the YouTubers, including myself. He's godly, right? I mean, he's just such a good character. And there we go, right? You see me hit the 3, then the 4, then the co-op, then the tier 3, then the 5. Now, what I'm going to do right here is, since I don't have any super armor, we're going to get interrupted right here by Null's cage attack. So we're just going to quickly do our 3, 4, 5 to get our skills off cooldown and try to increase the tier 3, right? To get our tier 3 ready faster. because in the last rotation here, or in the last phase, in 2 rotations, I can pretty much end it as far as, you know, going against Null. So I'll do 1 rotation right now, and with delay, try to get to 1.2%, go into the 4-5, right? Do some damage. And then we're going to build up our proc here. There we go. 3, 4, co-op, tier 3, 5. And booyah, guys. Look at that. 30 seconds to spare. 33 seconds to spare in stage 49. That is amazing, guys. Like, this is the amazing Spider-Man. Godly in PvP, godly in PvE, and he is easily one of the best characters in the game throughout the game. So let me know how y'all feeling about Spider-Man destroying about everything. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.